accidentally entered a local cooking contest. Forgot to mention I'm a Michelin-Star chef.
Okay, let's unpack this. So, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you accidentally maybe excelled a little too much?
Oh, definitely. It happens.
Well, today we're diving into this really fascinating account from Reddit. It's titled TIFU. That's Today I Effed Up. By accidentally entering a local cooking contest. Forgot to mention I'm a Michelin-Star chef and won the whole damn thing.
Right. And our mission here really is to just explore the layers of this. It's incredibly specific, funny, but also revealing.
Totally.
We're looking at this clash of worlds, the unexpected outcomes, and honestly, some surprisingly relatable stuff in there.
It really is more than just a laugh, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a case study in accidental competitive disruption.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Our guy, the protagonist, he's a head chef. Michelin-Star place in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right, top tier.
And he's just having a rare day off. His neighbor, Martha, she's described as a cardigan enthusiast.
Uh-huh. And she owns that terrifyingly aggressive Pomeranian, Sugar Plum.
That's the one. Yeah. So Martha asks him to volunteer for a fall harvest fest. He just says yes, no details asked.
Just trying to be neighborly, probably. And that's the setup, right? The misunderstanding.
Exactly. He shows up at the community center and bam, before he can say, I'm just here to help out.
Someone mistakes him for a contestant.
Yep. Gives him number 12, points him to a table. The organizer's like speed walking away. He tries to explain, but nope.
It's almost slapstick. What's really compelling, though, is his next move. He just rolls with it.
He does. So get this. He happens to have this huge pot of really sophisticated chili in his car.
The smoked short rib chili.
Yeah, that's the one. Ancho, guajillo peppers, finished with dark chocolate, in a pro-grade insulated container. It was actually for a friend.
Okay, wow. So he thinks what...
His logic, his chef math, as he puts it, was basically, well, I already have chili. Don't really feel like arguing. Might be funny.
That's brilliant. It's pragmatic, but also kind of mischievous.
Totally. So he submits it. Gives it this name he later calls pretentious as hell. Autumn Embers Short Rib and Smoked Pepper Chili.
He just leans right in. The convenience, the humor, it just takes over.
And the contrast, you can imagine. It was immediate, stark. Other competitors had what he called aggressively Midwest potluck-style chilies.
Right, like home style, comfortable, familiar.
And one person was apparently, proudly, using ketchup as a base.
Ketchup. Okay, so his chili lands, and
people reacted like, they just tasted color for the first time, whispering, this is like restaurant chili.
Of course, the difference must have been staggering. It just highlights how expertise can totally shift the context.
Yeah, and that brings us to the kind of the core issue, right? The awkwardness of it all.
Absolutely. That burden of being too good for the setting. The judges, local celebrities, a city councilwoman was one. They're clearly blown away. One's humming with her eyes closed. But the chef starts feeling guilty.
Yeah, he realizes he brought, quote, a sniper rifle to a water gun fight.
Exactly. Excelling wasn't fun anymore. It felt wrong. Being that overqualified, it just creates this weird tension.
Well, the big moment comes. The announcements. He wins first place, naturally.
No surprise there.
But the MC, see, Martha includes someone in, so the MC announces him as Chef Daniel Porter, adding he's a real-life professional chef.
Oh, boy. How did that go down?
Mixed. Polite applause, sure, but also this collective look he described as Mario Kart defeat. Like someone got hit with a blue shell right at the finish line.
Perfect analogy.
And one guy audibly mutters, well, that ain't fair.
Yeah.
The win felt kind of hollow, maybe.
I bet. And the prizes just add to the awkwardness. What was it? A novelty check?
Yeah, $250.
Yeah.
And a basket of Piggly Wiggly gift cards?
No.
Which, for anyone unfamiliar, is a big regional grocery store chain. Very local flavor prize.
Right. Very charmingly out of sync with a Michelin chef. Did he try to give them back?
He did, but they were like, rules are rules. You entered, you won. Then he gets ambushed by salty contestants.
The fallout. Accusations.
Oh, yeah. Professional sandbagging and the classic dig. It was good, but it needed more beans.
Ouch. The ultimate chili insult. So what did he do with the winnings?
He ended up just mailing the gift cards back to the community center. Anonymous donation. Kept the check for laughs, though.
Good call. So, thinking about this whole thing, what's the takeaway for you listening?
Right. This story, it's funny, it's absurd, but the reactions feel very human, don't they? It really invites you to think about those times you might accidentally be, way out of your league, or rather everyone else is out of your league.
Yeah. And maybe a final thought to chew on. Beyond the laugh, this whole thing makes you question what fair play even means when the skill levels are just unexpectedly miles apart, wildly mismatched.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into unexpected culinary victories.
TIFU by going on a date and running into my third grade teacher as my date.
We take one source, could be anything really, and just dig into it. Find the interesting bits. We've got this online thread. It's a story from the wild world of modern dating. Pretty crazy stuff.
It really is.
So our mission today is to unpack the emotional roller coaster here. There's humor, definitely, but also this sense of the past just crashing into the present unexpectedly.
Yeah, what's so interesting, I think, is how just swiping right, simple action can lead you to someone who completely messes with your idea of who people are.
Right.
Especially when that person is lodged deep in your memory from way back, almost foundational.
Foundational, yeah, like someone who literally taught you things.
Exactly. It just shows how our neatly separated pasts can just, boom, explode into the now.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our main character, let's call him that. He's 27, living in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
That phase of life. Yeah, that phase where, dating app bios feel kind of like you're writing a cover letter for yourself. He's on Hinge, looking for, a connection.
And he matches with Anna, 36. Profile seems good, right? Astute smile seems funny. Mentions she likes cereal at 2 a.m., wants someone who won't judge. Relatable.
Yeah, very. She also says she's in education. Bit vague, but okay.
So they chat back and forth. Good banter, apparently. Sarcasm, wit. They hit it off enough to decide, okay, let's grab drinks.
So her guy arrives at this, cozy cocktail bar. He's looking around for Anna.
And then he sees her.
And his stomach just plummets. Because sitting right there, sipping a gin and tonic, it's Miss Carter.
Miss Carter.
His third grade teacher, the one who taught him cursive, the one who wrote on his report card. He was easily distracted, but very creative.
Wow. Just imagine that mental gear shift, that instant jarring reality check.
It's got to be more than just awkward, right? It's
yeah.
Your brain just short circuits.
Absolutely. It's profound mental whiplash. She waves, gives him that smile. He probably remembers it well.
Oh, yeah. The sweet, but also kind of, I know what you're up to, teacher smile.
And it clicks instantly. Anna is Miss Carter. It really shows how much context gets stripped away online, doesn't it? Especially with, authority figures from your childhood.
Totally. There's zero preparation for realizing your Hinge date once made you practice multiplication tables.
None.
So his first words, you got to feel for him, are basically, you were my teacher.
Smooth.
Huh. And she sort of blinks, takes a second, and then just bursts out laughing, like an oh my God kind of laugh.
Right. The absurdity hits her too.
Then he tells her his last name, and her eyes go wide. She remembers him. Oh my God, she says, you had the Scooby-Doo lunchbox.
That detail. That's what anchors it for her. That must have been so disorienting for him. Specific, mundane memory.
Totally. And she explains, look, she didn't use her last name on Hinge because, she's still teaching. Doesn't want students finding her profile.
Which makes perfect sense. And it perfectly illustrates how we build these online selves, right? We curate, we remove context, and then in the real world, bam, context comes back with a vengeance.
So the date itself, surprisingly, after that initial atomic bomb of awkwardness, he was okay.
Apparently, yeah. They sort of shifted into, catching up, like distant cousins at a wedding or something.
Exactly. She talks about her dog, hiking. He talks about his job, normal stuff.
But underneath it all.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
He says there's this constant voice in his head just screaming, this is my teacher. I am on a date with my third grade teacher.
Every time she probably said his first name.
Flashback. To her telling him to stop peeling dried glue off his hands or something.
Yeah. It really highlights that weird emotional labor involved when, the dating app algorithm accidentally breaks down the walls between your 8-year-old self and your adult self.
Totally. She even said something like, I can't believe I'm having a cocktail with one of my old students.
And what did he say back?
He was like, yeah, same. I figured our next interaction would be like awkwardly bumping into each other at the grocery store in 20 years, not
over cocktails at a whiskey bar.
Yeah, exactly. And they stayed for 3 hours.
3 hours. Wow, okay.
And the kicker, when the bill comes, she insists on paying.
Oh, why?
Because, she says, she owed him for not letting him play kickball after lunch that one time.
No way. That's a very specific form of teacherly guilt/restitution. Amazing.
Right. So where does that leave our guy? He's totally conflicted.
Understand.
He's sitting there thinking, okay, this person is funny, she's attractive, easy to talk to, and she also taught me sentence structure in, 2004.
It's life's weird, messed up sense of humor in action, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And if you zoom out from just this one, admittedly hilarious story, it does make you think, right? What happens when these apps basically become like Russian roulette with people's pasts?
Yeah.
Forcing these rapid reevaluations of who people are, who you are, in contexts you never, ever prepared for.
And that really leaves you, the listener, with something to chew on in this world where pretty much everyone is potentially just a swipe away. How ready are any of us, really?
Yeah, how ready are you for your carefully walled-off past to just materialize across a table at a cocktail bar?
Something to think about.
TFIU by sending my friend a fake IRS letter, and now he's actually being audited.
Just a simple prank, meant for a laugh. But then it takes this wild U-turn into, a full-blown financial nightmare, straight from a really compelling personal account.
Yeah, it's pretty striking. What's fascinating here is how a small act, even one maybe meant playfully, can just spiral, trigger these huge unforeseen consequences, especially, when it brushes up against something serious like government agencies.
Right. So we're looking at this vivid first-person story, a prank that just escalated way beyond anyone's imagination. Our mission here is to pull out the surprising facts, understand that chain reaction, really. How did a silly joke become a real IRS audit? So set the scene for us. We've got this group of friends, right? And they have this history of, low-stakes pranks.
Exactly. We're talking classic stuff, swapping sugar and salt,
Mm-hmm.
Or that time with the 200 plastic flamingos on the lawn. Harmless fun, mostly.
Right, dumb stuff.
Totally. And then there's Chris. He's 31, freelance graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
And the key thing, perpetually stressed about taxes, deeply terrified of the IRS. The source mentions he lost sleep for 2 days over just a simple form update once.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the prank itself, it got triggered when Chris made this sort of smug comment about figuring out how to get the IRS to love him. Apparently by writing off his Chipotle lunches as creative brainstorming sessions.
Huh. Okay, I see where this is going. So the prankster gets a brilliant idea. Time to level up.
You got it. The plan. A fake IRS letter. But they didn't just scribble something.
No,
they went full overachiever. Downloaded actual IRS letterhead from public PDS online, found the exact font, copied the paragraph style, and topped it off with a big, bold, immediate action required header.
Yeah.
Put it in a real envelope, fake return address, Internal Revenue Service, Denver field office, and slid it right into Chris's mailbox.
Okay. And the reaction? Predictable, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Almost immediately, Chris's phone is blowing up. Texts just saying, WTF, WTF. And he calls, right, panicked, half whispering like he thinks his phone is tapped.
Seriously?
Tapped. That's what the source says. Mentioning his file had been flagged for review, some IRS rep contacting him for a compliance meeting. Oh. The prankster almost confessed right then, but then Chris mentioned the whole receipts in a shoebox thing.
Oh.
And the prankster just decided to let it ride. Unbelievable.
Wow, okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The prankster made a mistake, a big one, the fake letter. It accidentally used real language, specific phrasing from an actual IRS audit notice.
Wait, real language, huh?
Yeah, specifically language from what's called a CP 2000 notice. It wasn't just random bureaucratic words. It was authentic phrasing.
A CP 2000. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? Why was that phrasing so critical?
All right, good question. So a CP 2000 notice, for anyone listening, it's basically the IRS saying, hey, the income you reported doesn't seem to match what your employer or bank reported to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite a full audit yet, but it's definitely an official we see a potential problem flag.
Gotcha. So it sounds serious.
It does. And for Chris, who's already paranoid, seeing that specific kind of language, even in what he thought was the first contact, it sort of primed him.
Okay, I see. Another timing.
The timing was just incredible. 2 days later, Chris gets another letter. This one's real, from the actual IRS. And guess what? They had actually flagged some of his write-offs, including those creative brainstorming burrito deductions.
No way. The timing.
Exactly. So Chris, because of the fake letter just days before, immediately connects the two. He thinks this real letter is the follow-up, the confirmation.
Oh, man. So he spirals.
Totally spirals. Calls his accountant immediately. Spends the entire weekend digging through that shoebox of receipts. He even tells his girlfriend, like, be ready for the IRS to question us, like they're in some kind of Netflix true crime doc.
He really bought into it.
Because the fake looked so real, and the real one came right after. It was perfect storm territory.
So what did he do then? Just wait for the meeting.
Oh, he did something much more dramatic. He put together what the source calls a proactive disclosure packet. Basically, a binder containing his entire financial life, all his records. And he sent it voluntarily to the IRS.
He sent them everything, proactively.
Yep. And here's the kicker, linking it all together. The IRS accepted this voluntary disclosure. And because he sent it all in, Chris is now officially in an audit review.
So the prank didn't just scare him. It actually caused the real audit by making him hand everything over.
Directly. He essentially volunteered for an audit he might have otherwise navigated differently, or maybe even avoided escalating so far. He audited himself, in a way.
Unbelievable. So the prankster has to fess up at some point, right? How did that go down?
Well, they confessed. Probably expected, I don't know, a relieved laugh, maybe a punch on the arm.
Yeah.
Instead, Chris just stared for like 10 solid seconds.
Yeah.
Then just said, flatly, you're paying for my accountant.
Ouch. Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah. The immediate fallout, a $1,200 invoice for the accountant's time so far, which the prankster paid. The source kind of summed it up as a karmic turnaround time. Don't mess with the IRS, even as a joke.
Seems like a lesson learned. Hard way.
Yeah. The friendship, probably going to survive. But the prankster vowed 100% never pulling a government-related prank again.
Yeah, good call. So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for you, the listener? I mean, beyond the sheer absurdity, which is pretty funny in hindsight, this deep dive really shows how seriously people take official communications and how actions, even sort of playful ones, can backfire big time, financially, emotionally.
It's a really potent reminder about critical thinking, isn't it? In this world just flooded with info and misinfo, what seems like a harmless joke or maybe a shortcut, it can escalate incredibly fast if you don't double-check things or really grasp the potential consequences. It pushes you to question assumptions, especially when dealing with anything that looks official.
Yeah, definitely. And it leaves you thinking, right, in our world now where fakes can look so incredibly real, how do you actually verify crucial information? And where is that line between, a good laugh and a potentially massive legal and financial headache? Something to chew on.
I thought I was just killing time with some random guy over coffee. Turns out I was casually chatting with a freaking cabinet member.
Yeah, it's about this really unexpected high-level encounter that happened, of all places, over coffee.
Exactly. So our mission here is just to distill the wild details, really, and the surprising insights from this one source.
Yeah.
Okay. So picture this. It's a Thursday morning. Pretty typical Washington, D.C.
Right.
Our listener, they're 31, working in environmental policy, just finished an early meeting.
Okay.
And, trying to avoid going back to the office grind, decides to duck into one of those aggressively trendy D.C. coffee shops.
Oh, I know the type. Like reclaimed wood everywhere.
Totally. Edison bulbs, the whole vibe. You got it.
And what's interesting right away is the place is packed, right?
Whacked, yeah.
So it kind of forces our listener to, offer the empty seat at their little table to a stranger.
It's a simple thing.
A simple thing, yeah, but it kicks everything off, sets the stage for this connection that probably wouldn't happen otherwise.
So this stranger settles in, mid-50s, maybe, neat, navy suit, kind of calm vibe, just sipping black coffee. And the small talk starts, the usual stuff.
Weather, traffic.
Yep. How expensive the coffee is in D.C.
Eh?
Share to laugh about that.
Right. But then it shifts, doesn't it?
It does. Our listener mentions their job, environmental policy.
And the man's eyes, the source says they lit up just slightly.
Yeah, just slightly.
Which signals, it's not just polite interest. This guy actually knows the topic.
Yeah.
Like, really knows it.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where it gets wild. That small talk. It turns into, like, a 20-minute deep dive. Serious.
So wait a minute. On what?
Everything, renewable energy subsidies, the knots of bipartisan legislation, why the public doesn't really get the power grid, stuff like that.
Wow. Okay, so not surface level.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Our listener is really struck by how sharp his insights are. He's casually mentioning recent bills, state stuff, even dropped an anecdote about, like, touring a wind farm in Iowa in winter.
Okay, so he's definitely in the know. Way beyond casual interest.
For sure. So at some point, our listener, kind of joking, maybe a little sarcastic, says, wow, you sound like you should be in Congress or something.
And what does he say?
His reply, super understated, just Something like that.
Something like that. Oh, that is such a DC answer.
Isn't it? Classic. Makes you wonder later.
Totally. And then just like that, he's got to go.
Yeah, his phone buzzes. Quick apology. Says something about needing to head to the Capitol.
To the Capitol, okay.
Polite handshake, but no name, no card, nothing, just gone.
Which just adds to the whole, mystery of it all, right?
Right. So, fast forward maybe 2 hours. Listener's back at the office, scrolling the news online. And there he is, his face, right there on the Washington Post homepage, standing at a podium.
No way. Who was it?
The caption reads, Secretary of Energy announces new federal renewable initiatives.
Oh, my God. The actual U.S. Secretary of Energy.
The Secretary of Energy. Can you even imagine? Our listener said their soul just, left their body.
I bet. Replaying everything.
Everything. Especially that joke they made about politicians needing to bike to work to understand climate change. To his face.
Oh, wow. The irony, that is. That's quite an aha moment.
Huge.
And the fact that our listener, who works in the same field, had no clue who they were talking to.
Exactly. And their coworker apparently said something like, do you realize people would kill for 10 minutes of his time?
Yeah, that really underlines it. The status was just completely gone from that chat. It was just two people talking shop.
And our listener, besides being totally mortified,
Understandably,
they were also, quote, weirdly proud because they actually got the secretary to laugh twice.
Maybe he needed that.
Maybe. They even wondered if he found the total cluelessness kind of refreshing. A break from being treated like, the Secretary of Energy all the time.
That makes sense. It really speaks to how genuine connection can happen when you strip away the titles, the status.
Right.
The conversation wasn't about performing. It was just engagement. Real insight can come from that.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? In this world where we're swimming in information, we know about so many people.
They're public personas.
Exactly. How often do we actually connect with someone without that filter, without knowing who they are?
And what might we actually learn? What insights could pop up from those sorts of, accidental deep dives?
Something to mull over for sure.
I got a letter from someone claiming to be my real father.
Imagine your whole sense of family, your actual identity, just gets completely shaken up by a single letter arriving in the mail.
Yeah, handwritten, no less.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what happened to this 32-year-old whose story we're really digging into today.
It's a very personal account. We found it on Reddit. The thread title says it all, really. I got a letter from someone claiming to be my real father. I'm 32.
Wild.
It gives us this raw, kind of real-time view of a family secret just, coming apart.
So our mission here is to unpack all the emotional stuff tied up in a revelation like this.
Right. And maybe uncover some subtle clues that were perhaps always there.
And explore those big questions, about truth, who we are, and what actually makes a family.
Yes. Okay, so let's set the scene. We've got our subject, 32 years old, lives in Portland, works in IT.
Pretty stable life, sounds like.
Yeah, stable family situation, even has an old cat named Tuna. Just, ordinary life.
Okay.
Then, last Tuesday, this plain white envelope shows up, handwritten address. It's mailed from some small town over in Montana, and the very first sentence inside just stops them cold. I think I might be your biological father.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. A total record scratch moment, as they described it.
I bet. So this letter is from, let's call him Gary.
Yeah, Gary. He says he met the subject's mom way back, summer of '92. She was apparently visiting friends in Billings, Montana. Gary writes that she told him a few months later she was pregnant, but then apparently she said it wasn't his business and that she was with someone else now.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah. So Gary claims he's always wondered, and now that he's getting older, he didn't want to leave it sort of unanswered.
Makes sense, in a way. Did he ask her anything? Money or...
That's the thing, no. He included his phone number and even a grainy photo of himself, but specifically, no mention of money, nothing like that.
That probably makes it harder to just dismiss, right? If he's not asking for anything.
Exactly. It lends a certain credibility, maybe, or at least makes his motive seem less suspicious.
So how does this land... I mean, the subject must have thought they looked like their dad, the dad who raised them.
Well, yeah. Initially, they thought there was some resemblance. But this letter kicks off what they called a brain-doing gymnastics phase.
Ah, I can picture that.
Suddenly, all these past memories start looking different. you know?
Like what kind of things?
Okay, so like a comment someone made back in middle school, something about them not really looking like their parents, and they remember their mom just giving this kind of weird smile. And then realizing there are 0 baby photos before they were like 6 months old.
Huh. That is a bit strange.
Right. And their current dad, the one who raised them, he always tells stories about when you were little, but like never when you were born.
Subtle, but yeah.
And the biggest one, maybe, their mom never mentioned visiting Montana. Ever.
Never came up.
Wow.
So all these little things suddenly click into place, kind of.
Exactly. They shift from being just random details to potential, clues.
So this is all swirling around. They must be dying to ask their parents. How did that conversation finally happen?
Well, the tension just built up. And then apparently during a family dinner, they just blurted it out.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Just asked, do you know a guy named Gary from Montana?
What happened?
You could hear a pin drop, apparently. The air just froze.
I bet.
The mom eventually admitted it. She said, I did go to Montana once. And yes, I met someone named Gary. But then she added, that was before your father and I were married.
The qualifier.
Right. And her final word on it was very firm. But it doesn't matter because your father is your father. End of discussion, basically.
And the dad. The one who raised them.
He stayed quiet, just acted, quote, too normal, which, felt really off the subject.
Yeah, that silence can be louder than words sometimes. So where does that leave things? This was a week later, you said.
A week later, yeah. And the letter is still sitting there like a sleeping bomb is how they put it.
That's a good description.
They're kind of spiraling, caught between this intense feeling of, I need to know the truth, and also this dread of, I can't unknow it once I find out.
That's a heavy place to be. The fear that knowing might change the relationship with the dad who raised them. Make it feel...
Stake, yeah. That's the word they used. Like it might undermine everything they've shared.
But at the same time, there's this pull, this need to understand if there's this whole other part of their identity they never knew about.
Absolutely. It's a really modern dilemma in a way. With DNA tests being so easy to get now.
Let's do one.
They ordered a 23andMe kit, one of those home DNA tests.
Right.
But as of the post, it was still sitting there unopened, feeling like the first domino in a very long chain.
Gosh. And you mentioned some smaller anxieties, too.
Oh, yeah, the little things that show how much it's weighing on them, constantly checking the mirror, looking for Gary's face in their own reflection. Noticing their mom's Facebook profile is locked down like Fort Knox, like witness protection program level, private. Jumping every time an unknown number calls, wondering if it's him. Checking the mailbox obsessively like a paranoid raccoon.
Wow, that paints a picture. It really shows the mental toll, doesn't it?
It really does. This whole deep dive, it just highlights how one piece of information, totally unexpected, can just fundamentally shift how someone sees their entire life, their past, their present, their future.
It's powerful stuff. And the subject summed it up so well. They said, sometimes the truth is a gift. Sometimes it's a grenade. And sometimes you don't know which until you pull the pin.
That's quite a line.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, thinking about this story, what does it tell you about family? About identity? And I guess the courage it takes to face these kinds of truths when you have no idea what happens next.
Yeah, and maybe that final question too. How much does knowing or deciding not to know actually impact who we fundamentally are? It's a lot to think about.
My boss gambled away our department's payroll money, and now we're basically working for free this month.
Okay, imagine this for a second. It's payday. You check your account. And nothing. Not a glitch, but your boss actually gambled your paycheck away. Sounds wild, right? But it apparently happened. They worked at a marketing firm, Reno, Nevada, I think.
That's right, Reno.
And their head of operations basically took the department's payroll money to a casino. So our mission today, figure out how this could possibly happen, what the immediate fallout was for the actual employees, and importantly, what red flags you should look out for.
Exactly. This isn't just some crazy story. It's a perfect case study in what happens with unchecked financial power inside a company. It really underscores why understanding how money moves or doesn't move in your workplace is just so critical.
Okay, let's get into it. Spreadsheet Survivor worked at this small marketing firm, maybe 40 people total.
Yeah, relatively small.
Their department was even smaller, just 5 people doing like the back end stuff, invoicing, things like that. The person in charge, the head of ops named Rick, He handled payroll manually.
Manually.
Yeah, he'd move money from the main account to payroll, then do the direct deposits. No ADP, nothing automated. The CEO apparently wanted to, save on fees.
And right there, that's your first big warning sign. An in-house system run by one person just to save on fees. That screams high risk. It's what we call a single point of failure.
Totally. And it failed spectacularly.
Right.
Spreadsheet Survivor actually overheard Rick on the phone, loud, talking about needing to make it back from a bad streak.
Oh, boy.
At first, they thought it was personal. But then they heard it. I had the money right there. I thought I could double it before payroll. Just imagine hearing that.
That specific phrase, double it before payroll, that's not just a red flag, it's a blaring siren. And trying to spin gambling as personal financial opportunities, that shows a complete misunderstanding or maybe deliberate distortion of risk. It points to a serious lack of oversight.
Absolutely no controls.
No reputable company should let one person have that kind of unchecked access to payroll funds, especially not for extended periods.
And the impact on the team was immediate. These weren't people with huge savings. Missing even one paycheck meant, struggling with electric bills. Daycare, one person mentioned $1,100 for daycare car payments.
Real life consequences.
Yeah, Spreadsheet Survivor had to put groceries on a credit card. Someone else borrowed from family, and they still had to work. Clients don't pause because your boss has a gambling problem. What did the company even say?
Well, Rick's first move was a vague email. Banking issues, he called it, delaying payroll.
Convenient.
Very. Then, Friday afternoon, a team meeting. He apparently put on this fake smile and confessed the payroll account was, quote, temporarily underfunded. Translation, I lost your money at the casino.
Unbelievable.
And in a small company like that, you can bet the gossip spread fast. The office manager even saw Rick at the Atlantis casino ATM, the actual casino ATM, and saw him spend hours inside. By Monday, everyone knew, including the CEO, back from a golf trip, looking furious.
Okay, so the CEO finds out he's furious, but Rick is still there. That seems odd. Why keep him around?
It is odd. It suggests maybe some kind of legal reason, or perhaps the CEO trying to manage the situation quietly, maybe avoid bigger fallout. It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely doesn't help with the trust issues.
No kidding. It just makes things worse for the employees.
Exactly. It's another sign that leadership isn't acting decisively when there's such a clear breach.
So morale obviously was terrible.
Yep.
People started updating resumes, even long-term employees. And Rick, he kept showing up, Hawaiian shirts and all, acting like it was just a rough patch. He even brought in donuts.
Donuts, right, as if that fixes anything.
Spreadsheet Survivor did update later. They did get paid eventually, but it was weird. A manual transfer from some strange LLC, not the company. Sounds like Rick had to scramble, maybe find funds from, well, who knows where.
Which just adds another layer of sketchiness to the whole thing.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Spreadsheet Survivor was still planning to leave.
And that's the core lesson here, isn't it? If your company's payroll is basically one person operating without any real checks, or if you hear a boss talking about casinos as investment opportunities, those aren't small issues, those are huge warnings. You really need to look critically at your own workplace's financial setup.
Absolutely. So this dive into Spreadsheet Survivor's story, it really shows the danger of unchecked internal processes and the immediate severe cost when trust is just completely broken.
It really does. If the system lacks basic controls or the language used around money sounds more like Vegas than business, pay attention.
So the final thought for you, listening. Beyond this specific, frankly insane story, what does it tell us about the real cost of mismanagement? And maybe more importantly, how do we, as employees, actually protect ourselves when things go sideways like this? Something to think about.
Thanks for being with us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.